I want to watch something American real quick. We watched this video from this guy yesterday, Captain Steve. Blue skies to you. He broke down and gave the most down to earth, logical response to what happened with the Black Hawk chopper and the actual plane. Now we're going to look at what happened in Philly last night.
Well, unfortunately, we have another aircraft mishap to talk.
This is insane. Like, it's been years where we had like an American soil fatality crash, and now it's happened back to back weeks within like 48 hours.
And I want to talk in this video about what I think happened in the airplane outside of Northeast Philly, the Learjet that went down just last night, and how incredibly rare it is to have two back-to-back major accidents like this. But let's take a look at what happened last night in Philadelphia.
Medevac, mid-service 056, on departure, turn right heading 290, runway
It's ominous that we're going to have to listen to what happened.
24, clear for takeoff, wind 25010.
So the situation here is it's a medevac flight. It's a Learjet, it's Lear 55. It's a very nice jet. And it's going from Northeast Philadelphia, an airport I know a great deal about. I flew all the time in my military days out of Willow Grove.
The captain's in the kitchen. The sad thing is this guy's going to give us such good information, and he's in the kitchen. This guy's going to give us better news than actual mainstream media, and he's able to do it in a way that's just down to earth and has no politics involved. Just a pilot with tons of experience giving his POV. It's fantastic. And I don't know if you heard it too, but he's probably going to bring it up in this video. My assumption of what happened is apparently on this board there was 2 doctors, 2 officers, a family member, and a patient. And something tragically happened during the flight, and obviously it crashes. But it had to do something. There's something medical going on in there. Like somebody needed some type of medical specialist and be transported from one hospital to another, and just didn't make it.
I was there for about a dozen years, and that's right in the vicinity of Northeast Philadelphia. They fly a lot of these medevac flights to various places around the world, even. But this one's going to
recovered. I don't know.
Illinois. They
This
take
happened
off
so
off
soon.
of runway 24. About 60 seconds later, they crash, and there's lots of conjecture about why that happened. I'll tell you in a minute what I think happened. Again, remember, this is just my conjecture about it. There's going to be a whole forensic redo of this whole flight, and that will be the details that come out in the days, weeks, and months to come. But let's take a look at what we know so far.
Medevac, med-service 056, contact Philly departure 123.
That's a medevac.
123.8, Mike Tango Sierra.
911 part 2, dude. It's getting pretty ominous over here.
Okay, let me stop it right there. So this is a routine departure out of any airport. It can take place anywhere around the world. And medevac takes off, and as soon as they're airborne, they're 400 or 500 feet
Pretty
above
sure
the ground
everyone died
when they get handed off to departure control. And so they're given a frequency. What I want you to key into here is the voice of the co-pilot who's talking on the radios. It's completely calm. It's completely normal. It's completely routine. Nothing's going on.
To give you context, Shadow, last night, legitimately, it's nighttime. So this morning, your guys' time, there was a crazy plane crash. And just to give you, like, how crazy of a thing this is, let's just look this up. Let's just go plane crash. Plane crash. It's going to be the first thing that pops up. Aftermath of the crane flash in Northeast Philadelphia. Here, let's just type in that. That way you can actually see. Is they're going to show the aftermath from this morning. Look. This is what happened last night. Last night, this morning your time. Look at that. You could see the plane. Boom. Insane. And on that plane apparently was 2 doctors, 2 police officers, somebody who needed some medical attention, and a family member.
Just yet on this airplane, and I can
Jesus
get that
Christ,
from listening to the tone in the voice. And remember, in aviation, there are 3 priorities, and they go in.
And it was just in the middle of a street. It literally ran into homes. There's other videos to where you could see there's a home that the whole first floor is completely on fire. Deep state? No, I mean, I don't think it's the deep state. I think if somebody needed a medical emergency, if I wanted to have fun with this, which is completely rude and unempathetic and having no emotion for the people who are on that plane. But going through with that, what if the person on the plane had a contagious disease, there was no cure, and they were like, yo, it's being spread. We all 6 have it now. We got to make sure this doesn't get out of the plane. How do you do that? like that. Not saying that that's what happened.
Order: aviate, navigate, communicate, in that order. So the first thing is make sure you fly the airplane. That's the aviate part. Keep the airplane, the blue side up, as we say in aviation.
Bro did a kamikaze.
Navigate
literally.
Is the next thing. Where are you headed? Where
it was a kid on the plane
right?
that was headed for
that was
pediatric care.
In the Reagan incident.
Sorry, has that come out? As I did see something like that. So that's not the first time I've heard that.
Just at the beginning of the week. And then communicate. That's the third.
I've been
of
live
the
for about an
priorities.
hour,
It's
Harsh.
not the top of the list. And what's going to happen here is you don't hear another word from these guys. It was absolutely routine when they got handed off, and something happens immediately that causes this airplane to crash. And I'll give you my thoughts on that.
I don't think the two crashes are connected, guys. I think they're two separate things. I think this is just another tragedy.
Med Service 056 Philadelphia. Med Service 056 Philadelphia.
So Philadelphia is expecting the handoff.
So the
from this
third one
medevac
happens?
flight, and they don't hear anything from them. They never checked in. Something was going on in that cockpit that was preoccupying them, that from the time they got the handoff from tower to dialing the frequency and talking to Philadelphia, they were busy. They're probably doing a checklist. They're trying to handle whatever emergency it is that is now developed, and it developed that fast. Philadelphia is going to call them a couple of times. Tower's going to try him next.
Medevac Med Service 056 Northeast Tower. Contact Philly 123.8.
This is absolutely normal. They'll go back and forth between the tower and Philadelphia. You see over on the side of your screen here a schematic of the actual video of what's happening to this airplane. I want you to note the steep angle that the airplane is flying at before.
Like, look at that. Like, this last part is insane.
What's happening?
Like, look at the
airplane.
angle of it.
I want you to note the steep angle that the airplane is flying at before it impacts the ground.
Archivist, it was a private jet. It's a private Learjet. It's a medical one, so I'm sure it's not like a commercial airline. It looks like a missile. It with the explosion and everything. This is the video. It's being trimmed out. There's a dude. This video. It's like a camera on the front of their door as they're walking out. You see it, and the husband and wife look at it, and they're like, "Fuck the date night. We're going right back inside."
Medevac Med Service.
Insane.
Northeast Tower.
So they're going to continue to call this airplane. They've already crashed. They're never going to respond.
It's sad. It is.
And this is a tragedy.
Yes.
And again, we watch this and our hearts just go out to the people on board that airplane and the people on the ground as well. So what happened here? Well, we don't know a whole lot. And again, in the long run, we're going to find out the details. There's a couple of things that take place here. And I'm looking at the angle of the airplane as it hits the ground. That steep angle doesn't happen. The pilots can't create that. This isn't a matter of the pilot pushed over the airplane. It would be very hard to create that steep an angle from that altitude. Most likely this airplane stalled.
Underage missile too far. What do you mean by that?
A stall is not like in your car where the engine just stops running. A stall in an airplane is when the wing, the flow of air over the wing is disrupted. It stops flowing properly, and then that wing loses lift. Typically when that happens, and again, there are several critical phases of flight. The most critical is the takeoff phase of flight. Why is that? You're the heaviest you're ever going to be. You've got your power pushed all the way up, and you're going slow. You're going to accelerate as you get up to altitude. You're going to reconfigure the airplane by bringing the landing gear up, retracting the flaps and those sort of things. So the airplane becomes even more aerodynamic. So at this point, they're at the most, what we would call in aviation, the most critical
like stall position
phase of flight. And something happens to disrupt the lift over the wings. That's my conjecture on this. At that point, the nose of the airplane, which is kind of up like this, is going to drop steeply. It's going to fall through. One of the wings is going to stop creating lift, and the airplane's going to either go on its back, or the nose is going to come sharply down. And that's where you get that steep angle now that you see on the screen where they impacted the ground. Now, if you're up at altitude and that happens, you have altitude to lose to recover, because the air will start flowing back over that wing as the nose drops through.
For sure.
When you're this close to the ground, there's no
Boeing
time
is
to
suspicious.
recover.
Boeing is very
and
suspicious.
That's what happened to these folks, I think. Why would the airplane stall? One of two possible big reasons.
Shuby, we can't, at the moment, we can't say that it is or isn't. We just, what company makes a Learjet 55? If you guys could do some research, figure out who makes Learjet 55s, and then we can figure out
what is the center of gravity on
company
the airplane
made it.
was off. Maybe it was way too far in the back. and it caused the nose to pitch up, which would create
Totally
a
agree.
disruption in the lift over the wing. The air is not flowing smoothly over the wing, or they lost an engine or two.
I just like
and they
Captain
lost all
Steve
their
over here
thrust.
because
Let's
he
put it that
breaks
way.
this
They
down
lost,
as a
enough
pilot.
thrust that
No politics
the
involved.
airplane stalled and the nose fell through. So at this point now, we're not going to get anything else from Philadelphia or anybody else. I do want you to look a couple times at the angle of this flight, and I want you to understand that this airplane didn't get airborne for more than about 60 seconds. When we look at its flight path, it comes straight off of runway 24. It's climbing out straight ahead as it would have been cleared to do. At the very end of this video that we just watched, there's a little veer to the left before they impact the ground, and that would be characteristic.
Learjet
also
is
of
the
a
company
stall.
which makes the Learjet
The
55.
left wing was the one that probably dipped
Then
down
we know
first. The
who-
nose
then
fell
we know
through,
what
and the
company
airplane
then.
went just slightly off to the left. I'm grabbing a lot from just a bit of the video here, but again, it's very sad. Now,
This is how it is.
what does this have to do with the accident outside of Reagan? Well, the two most critical phases of flight, obviously, are taking off and landing. Now, where the two incidents are really totally different is that there's a lot to look at in the DCA accident. The regional jet was in a very tight airspace. They were cleared to land. The airspace in front of them, behind them, and on both sides of them
Interesting.
belongs to that commercial jet. The helicopter was talking to the tower. They accepted
Are you really
visual
a Sora, or
separation
are you
rules
just joking?
from the tower. They said they had the airplane in sight. And my conjecture on that video was they were looking at the wrong airplane. They thought they had visual separation on the airplane. The only problem was it wasn't the airplane the tower was talking about. That's human error. Again, we're going to find out in the weeks and months ahead what actually happened, but I think that played a huge factor in it. In this one, we simply don't know. All we know is that the co-pilot had a completely normal voice, and from the time he got handed that frequency to start talking to departure control, something happened, and it happened quickly. It happened so quickly that the airplane stalled, in my opinion, and then just did that nosedive down into the ground. Now, the question that's going to come back to all of us is this: is it safe to fly?
Yes, it is safe to fly.
And I've been inundated with emails and texts over the last
It's still
few days.
safer to fly
Captain
than drive.
Steve, tell us it's safe to fly. And the answer is absolutely yes, it's safe to fly. Look, I want you to put this in perspective. Every day, all around the world, there are tens of thousands of departures, takeoffs, and
Yep.
landings all around the world.
Accidents are going to happen. And eventually AI is going to take this over. And just like how we have self-driving cars in America, we're going to have self-flying planes. And all of this is going to get mitigated even more so.
Goes on day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. The last time there was a major airline
Skynet moment?
accident in this country, in the U.S.,
Is it Archivist? I see it like this. It's either Skynet or Star Wars. You know what I mean? Star Wars has the same kind of idea, but it's way more, not nearly as detrimental to human society or humankind.
with fatalities was over a dozen years ago. I can't even remember the last time there was a mid-air collision like there was at DCA this week. It's been decades since that has happened, and there have been millions of flight events that have gone on in between that.
I definitely look at the
problem
optimistic
is
side for sure.
When two accidents take place so close to each other, boy, it really makes us nervous. And I understand that, folks. I get that. You're asking me, is it safe to get on an airplane? Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm about to get on an airplane tomorrow. I'm going to fly from Charlotte Douglas International Airport all the way over to London, and I'm going to bring 300 of my best friends with me. It's absolutely safe to get in an airplane. Your pilots are
he's going overseas.
well trained. They are very seasoned and very experienced.
I bet you there'll still be pilots in those self-driving or self-flying planes for sure, but they're going to be doing less and less.
And again, the system has not failed. These are just two coincidences that took place so close to each other. Yeah, it does make
It's
us
all
kind of
good,
nervous,
Asura.
and I understand that. If you can, come along with me tomorrow night. I got the 8:30 departure out of Charlotte Douglas. I'm headed to London, and we're going to have a good time together. Hopefully, I can put all my passengers at ease before we depart, because I understand how nervous this gets. But as I always say at the end of my
autopilot, which
videos,
basically,
I want you to
yeah.
fly safe. And folks, you can
It's just going to continuously get more like that is what I'm trying to say.
rest assured that the system is okay and you can fly safe. Well, there's my thoughts on it. I'm Captain Steve.
Blue skies, Captain Steve. What a man. I appreciate. Can we all agree that this guy, this pilot, in his kitchen is giving us better factual based news around this than our actual mainstream media. It's insane. What are the best missiles? A plane with hundreds of lives can be shot. Most importantly, oh my gosh, hold on. What is this? What are the best missiles? A plane with hundreds of lives can't be shot by a missile because it carries hundreds of lives. Most importantly, it needs a few jihadists or a bomb in a plane to operate it. It costs. What are you saying? Aye, aye, Captain Elliot? No, aye, aye, Captain Steve. Chad Pilot? No, he is. He's Mega Chad. Mainstream media has gone to shit? Absolutely. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, then please like the video, subscribe, and if you really like it, then share it with some of your friends. My goal here is to spread a positive message while sprinkling my 2 cents on big topics like American, Indian, and world geopolitics, and even small stuff like Twitch drama and online debacles. And if you want to see it live, come join me over on Twitch. Twitch.tv/ActuallyElrod. That's where I'm going to do all my reactions, and after the reactions, that's where we get down a game. And if you're like, hey, I have a video that I want this dude to sprinkle his 2 cents on, then come over on my Discord and let me know and join the community there. And while we're at it, I have to say thank you to everybody who has made that Discord just so poppin'. I never thought I'd have a Discord that's so flowing. It's really cool to see. Shout out to you, Bobby, Omni, Demon, all of you who have been in there who are just super active. Logie, you're the man. Logie is the one who's like modding and helping run the server, so thank you, Logie. Lastly, I challenge you. I have a challenge for you. Make somebody laugh today. We all know there's enough hate and vitriol in the world. If energy is contagious like the flu, then let's spread and get everyone contagious with our positive energy, right? Not negative energy, because there's so much of that, and if we could just be a small little change in someone's day, then you never know. Maybe that's the thing that starts shifting this world to a happier, healthier, just better place. And with all of that said and done, thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.